The protests are spreading, the polls are collapsing, and even red state local news is starting to sound the alarm. The Apple Store in Portland and the Apple Store in Southlake, Texas, also both bedeviled by protesters in the last few days, telling the company to put back on the App Store the app that's called Iceblock, which helps people alert their neighbors about where Trump's immigration agents have been seen operating. The Trump administration told Apple to take Iceblock out of the App Store, and they did. People protesting all over the country against Apple and against Apple CEO Tim Cook for the company caving like that. Put Iceblock back in the App Store. People protested against President Trump as he arrived at the Army-Navy game this weekend. Don't obey illegal orders. No war crimes with my tax dollars. Baltimore says no to tyranny. People today rolled out a huge photo. A huge photo of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein rolled out on the lawn on the National Mall. Look at that, just across from the White House. As some iteration of the Epstein files are finally due to be released this week on Friday, and as a new Reuters poll shows that the proportion of Americans who believe that Donald Trump didn't know about Epstein's crimes has fallen now below 20%. Did you know about Epstein? Do you think Trump knew about Epstein's alleged crimes before they were public? I'm sure Trump didn't know that. Less than 20% of the public now believes that. I feel like everybody in the national news media is cottoning now to the fact that Trump's approval ratings, not just in general, but on specific issues, and all the issues that are most important to him. Trump's approval ratings are just cratering. I feel like the national media is finally sort of figuring that out. You know that the country, broadly speaking, is really quite sharply against President Trump at this point. That said, I'm not sure my brothers and sisters in the national media have quite caught into the fact. What that looks like, even in red state local media markets like, say, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm not sure everybody coast to coast has quite realized that what that cratering approval rating for Trump and his continued every day stepping on new rakes and doing new things that are radically unpopular with the American people. I'm not sure people have quite figured out that that translates to primetime local news coverage in Oklahoma. That looks like this. Protesters with indivisible Tulsa County say they are wishing for things like a united America, affordable food prices, and peace in Ukraine. Indivisible Tulsa County co-leader Susan Young explained why the organization felt the need to speak out Saturday afternoon. The economy needs to improve, the affordability thing, although the administration doesn't really like us talking about that. It is a big deal. People don't like being told how many dolls they should buy for their children or what they need to give up for Christmas. At a speaking engagement earlier this week, President Trump talked about affordability, saying, quote, "You don't need $37 for your daughter." Sure. 2 or 3 is nice, but you don't need $37. I just love the straight up local news reporter, end quote. $2 or $3 is nice, but you do not need $37. Now on to yeah, you really did say that. And red states don't like that either. And that's the local nightly news in Oklahoma. You know things aren't going great, my dude. In the latest app polling, Trump is minus 36 on the economy. 31% of the country approves of Trump on the economy. 67% disapproves. So Trump on the economy is underwater by 36 points. On health care, it's even worse. He's underwater by 40 points. And that poll ended before today, which is the deadline for people to sign up for their health plans under the ACA, which is tens of millions of people in this country. And those plans, the prices of those plans, the premium costs, are skyrocketing in price because of what Trump and the Republicans did in his so-called big, beautiful bill. What they did to destroy healthcare premiums in terms of how expensive they are, what they did, that overt policy change they made that costs everybody's health insurance premiums to go through the roof, that starts hitting people officially today. Trump, Republicans cause. They have not been able to fix it. And Trump is already 40 points underwater on healthcare, even before that starts hitting people. I mean, there is a lot going on right now, and frankly, all of it that points back to the Trump administration and its own actions right now is basically a debacle, right? We're going to talk about the huge mess and very public failures at the FBI in just a couple of minutes. But beyond that, at the VA, we've got the Trump administration cutting 35,000 healthcare jobs because Merry Christmas. That's what Donald Trump and the Republicans think of veterans' healthcare. They are cutting 35,000 doctors and nurses and other healthcare jobs at the VA. Merry Christmas at FEMA, which has not exactly been distinguishing itself under the Trump administration. Ask Texas. Trump is now putting in charge of the key emergency response division there, the Office of Response and Recovery. Trump is putting in charge of that. He has no response experience whatsoever, but he is a guy who said the election was stolen from Trump not only in 2020, but also in 2016. Now, you may recall, 2016 is an election Trump won. But this guy says that one was also stolen from Trump, even though Trump won it. Now, his reward is that Trump is putting him in charge of running response and recovery for the U.S. federal government at FEMA. That's going to be real popular, too, I'm sure. Listen, you do unpopular things and you end up unpopular. Donald Trump is as unpopular as he has ever been, and smart politicians all over the country are figuring that out. Gavin Newsom, Democratic governor of California, is crowing today about California chasing Trump's illegal National Guard deployment out of this state. Gavin Newsom is also hiring away from Washington, D.C. from Trump's now business. A broken federal government, the most prominent public health officials in the country and therefore in the world. He's hiring them away to leave Washington and come work for California instead, where their work is valued. And they can do world-class public health work here. Come work for a real government, not the clown show that Trump is operating in Washington when he's not sneering at murder victims. Across the country, in Maine, I mentioned that some Democratic candidates for office joined the demonstration. And the rally in Lewiston this weekend in support of Somali Americans, calling out and responding to Trump's racist tirades against Somali Americans. Well, in the governor's office today, in Maine, Maine Governor Janet Mills, who would like to be Senator Janet Mills, today she announced in an op-ed that she is repealing Maine's policy of having local police cooperate with Trump's federal immigration agents. Because that is the political weather right now, right? Yes, the weather is cold. But the political weather is against Trump. And in particular, the weather is right now very, very clearly against Trump's performance.